tonight. My name is Dina Cataldo. I'm the owner of Sicilian Tea Company, and tonight we're going to talk about creating a tea ritual because we've got the 21-day tea ritual challenge coming up, and it starts on Friday, and it's absolutely free. So I want to talk a little bit about that tonight with you. I'm starting a little bit early tonight because I wanted to introduce you to my kitchen, which is my tea ritual area. It's just this nice little breakfast nook where every morning I get up, I make some tea, I have some lemon water, and I just relax for a little bit. And I wanted to show you a little bit about what my ritual looks like, and it's pretty laid back. So I want you to just be aware that it doesn't have to be anything fancy, that this is really just a laid back thing, and it's meant to be, because the whole purpose of the 21-day tea ritual challenge is to get you to think about making time for yourself and taking care of yourself as a lifestyle rather than an afterthought. That is how I lived my life for so long, is treating myself as an afterthought, treating my needs, my need to relax as an afterthought. And part of my decision to create the 21-day tea ritual challenge is to introduce other people into this lifestyle of caring about yourself. Seems pretty simple, but a lot of us, type A personalities have a hard time doing it. I still have a hard time doing it, and it takes work. I want to give you some of the keys to making it less work, but I'm gonna tell you right now that you have to work at it. If you want it, you gotta work at it. That's just the way it is. If you wanna have a lifestyle where you're taking care of yourself, where you're, actually looking out for yourself, then you gotta work at it. You gotta make it a priority. If you don't make yourself a priority, nobody else will. So that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. I've posted a link to the 21-day tea ritual challenge where you can enter your email, enter your information, and then you're gonna get an email with more information from me about the challenge. And during the 21 days, you're gonna get an email in your inbox every day giving you some inspiration, giving you some food for thought, and giving you some tea tips to enjoy your tea ritual more. And you can take it or leave it. You can read every single email, or you can just, take what I'm giving you today and use this as a tip for 21 days. But the emails are motivational. So if you're really committed to creating this lifestyle, if you are really committed into doing something that is good for you, then you want to sign up for these emails, and you want to join the Facebook group that I will link to in those emails so that you can get those daily motivations. I know I need to keep myself motivated all the time. I'm really looking forward to this challenge because it keeps me honest, it keeps me committed to taking care of myself. It is work, all right? But what I want to talk to you today about is how to make it a little bit less work, to make it a bit easier for you to get into this habit of taking care of yourself. But first, tea. So tonight I am drinking a gunpowder green tea. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions and see if you have any answers for these. If you want to post them in the comments, what your guesses are, then I would love to hear them. And I will answer at the end of this video these questions. So, gunpowder green tea. First off, why is this tea called gunpowder green tea? Secondly, do you know what country uses green tea in their traditional mint concoction? All right, so think about those two questions. Why is it called gunpowder green tea, and what country uses gunpowder green to create a mint concoction? All right, okay, so let's get started here. So what is a tea ritual? Okay, a tea ritual. So you can get super fancy with your tea ritual. I mean, you can bust out your Japanese tea finery, you can bust out your gong fu set, you can do anything you like that makes you happy. Like, I like to make matcha in the morning, and that's a little bit more of a ritual. You need to get your whisk out, you need to do all this preparation, and you can do that. And it's not wrong. In fact, it's fantastic. You do my tea ritual a little bit differently, or in addition to the matcha. I make my tea and I just use a brew-in mug and I make it. You can use whatever tea you want for your tea ritual. You're not bound by even not using tea bags, although if you've watched any of my videos, you know how I feel about tea bag tea, so please consider doing loose leaf tea. I've got tons of resources on my website if you want to learn how. But I make my tea and then I have a seat. I keep my phone off. In fact, I keep it away from my table. I don't want to touch it. It's really hard because first thing in the morning I want to check my email, I want to check my Facebook, I want to check all of these different things. But it's important for your sanity to stay away from that, for a tea ritual anyway. So, well, generally we should stay away from all the social media stuff, but it's hard. So my tea ritual area for me is this breakfast nook. It's this nice quiet little area. I've got my cat, right now he's looking at Rocco, he's looking out the window. I have my dog Frankie, he comes up and he'll hang out with me, and I just sit here. It's usually in the morning. It's usually about 5 in the morning because I made myself a morning person with this tea ritual. And I set up my table with some flowers. I usually like to have some fresh flowers available, and I have my little pillows, and I try to keep my kitchen as clean as possible, although I'm glad you can't see it right now because it is not exemplary, but it's just a nice little place to sit. And then I can look out my window, I can watch, the cars pass by, and when it's nice in the morning, I can lift the window and listen to the birds chirping. I mean, it's really nice. But there's some things that I had to do in order to make sure that I sit down and I enjoy myself. Okay, so first off, I have to square away the time. I have to know that I have time to relax. And if I changed my whole lifestyle a few years back to make myself a morning person. But if you're not a morning person, you don't have to do your tea ritual in the morning. Create your ritual and do your ritual at a time that works for you. So if morning is just, you're like, no way, I'm not doing this, don't do it. You can do it in the afternoon. You can do it in the evening. You could do it at work and take 10 minutes during your lunch break. If you're doing it at night, I'd suggest not drinking tea and maybe having an herbal infusion rather than drinking tea, because tea is caffeinated and you don't want to be buzzing right before you go to bed. If you make the time, if you know the time that works best for you, pick that time and stick with it. If you have kids and it feels good to wake up early before they wake up, then get up, 15 minutes early before they get up, start your water, kind of get your morning going, and then have a seat after you've made your tea and start drinking and sitting. And we'll talk a little bit more about how that works, because there's a little bit more to it than that, just in terms of discipline. But making that time is the first step to creating a ritual and creating the ability to make taking care of yourself a lifestyle. The second thing that you want to do is you want to make space. And for me, it helps having the same space to come back to day after day to do it. For me, it's this breakfast nook. I can come back to this space day after day, and no one's gonna bother me here. They know this is my space. My family knows it's my space. I need my little time in the morning. And be nice about it. Just say, hey, I just want to take a couple minutes to myself this morning. Just take your time. I mean, this is about you and prioritizing you and your needs. So this little breakfast nook is my space. And then do the same thing every day. Like, create a plan. You may tweak it a little bit over time. You may have a general idea of how you want to do this and how you want to schedule your time and make your space and how you want to go about creating your tea ritual. But, once you've kind of played around a little bit, once you've figured out what works best, settle into a routine. I have been doing this for a few years now, so I know that in the morning I like to take my time. I don't like to feel rushed. I realized that I hated feeling rushed for work in the morning, and I would get that adrenaline rush, and I would just be like running around and getting my clothes together and taking a shower, and I hated that. I realized, so why am I doing this? If I'm not enjoying my mornings, why am I doing this? And then when I come home from work, I'm just going to crash on the couch. I've used my whole day up at the office, and I haven't spent any time on me. So I've changed my whole schedule around. I wake up 4:30 every morning. I know that sounds crazy to some people. I know my friends think it's crazy. I'm like the old lady, but whatever. I'm happy. So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I feed my pets. I take my dog for a walk. I come home. I have my tea. I'm set. And then once you've kind of created that space and you've created the time to do your tea ritual, then it really comes down to the mechanics of like, how does a tea ritual work? Okay. So, the mechanics of a tea ritual. So once I've made my tea and I have a seat, I make sure I don't have any electronics around me, or at least I have my phone upside down and I'm very disciplined about not touching it. Then I just sit and I think. And part of the tea ritual challenge is going to include email prompts that are going to give you things to think about if you want to. It's just suggestions. They're just suggestions that you can take or leave, or you can sit quietly with your tea for 10 minutes and just breathe. Feel your breath moving in and out. It's like a meditation. You don't have anything to do. You don't have to think about your to-do lists. In fact, I'm encouraging you not to. During this time, it's about you. It's not about what you have to do in the future. It's not about your to-do list. It's not about who you need to talk to later on or what you have to do. It's about you being present in this moment and just taking it in, whether it's taking in the tea that you're drinking, the aromas, the flavors, the warmth of the cup, whether it's the sounds of nature, if you're listening to birds chirping outside, or just feeling your breath moving in and out of your body. Those are all things that keep you in this moment, that keep you present, and that will, over time, put you more in tune with your body. It will put you more in tune with your intuition. It will help you feel more grounded. And when things come up, like horrible events come up, and we hear them, they're in the news right now. My heart goes out to the people in Houston right now. But when horrible things happen, or when challenging things happen, it doesn't have to be something devastating like that. It could be something more personal to us. We will have the wherewithal to go through it with grace. And that's the goal, right? I mean, not to say that, people aren't human and that we don't have emotions and we don't react, but the goal is to behave the best that we can, to act the best that we can in the situation based on our strengths. And this is building that muscle. It's building that muscle not to react, and to be more considerate, and to show more compassion, which we can all use more compassion in our lives, right? So that is the general mechanics of it, is having a seat and sitting quietly with yourself. It's hard, all right? So expect to have some pushback, expect to have some reaction. Like, you might feel really uncomfortable. Your brain might be going a mile a minute during this challenge, and you may find yourself wanting to pull away, to check your phone, to write down a to-do list. I challenge you not to. This is your time, and the more time you take for yourself, the more peace you're going to find. All right. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is something that you'll want to consider, and you may find this out along your journey if you decide to dive deeper into learning about yourself and discovering yourself. So when you are sitting with yourself in this ritual, when you are quiet with yourself, you're going to notice some things. You're going to notice that your thoughts get pulled in different directions, and that's normal. You're going to notice that you start feeling things and noticing that you're feeling things. when you start noticing those feelings, you're gonna ask yourself, I wonder what that's about. There's no judgment involved. It's just, where does that come from? Why am I feeling that or thinking that way? When you start noticing these things, you might have the urge to share them with people, these feelings, these aha moments. The people that we surround ourselves with, they can either be encouraging or they can be discouraging. The people, of course, you want to surround yourself with aren't always the ones who are there already. So if you decide you want to share your feelings, share your aha moments, choose carefully the people that you share them with. In fact, I created a closed Facebook group for Sicilian Tea Company, and where the 21-day tea ritual challenge is going to be housed as well. All the members are going to be housed there to talk to each other, to share those aha moments and not have that fear of judgment, to be able to share things that you may not want to tell somebody else that's in your group because you don't feel like they would be the most supportive. So that is why that group is there, and when you join the Tea Ritual Challenge, you will get a link. I encourage you to click on that link in the post. It is free, so you have no excuses not to make time for yourself. This is something that you're doing for you, and you take as much as you want and you leave the rest. All right, so you can read every single email, or you can decide that you aren't as interested as you thought. All right, and you don't have to keep doing it. But if you are really interested in growing, if you are really interested in learning how to care more about yourself and make that part of your lifestyle and not just an afterthought, then I encourage you to take this 21-day challenge. It starts on Friday, and I'm really excited about it, and I hope you join us. And I want to tell you the answers to those questions that I asked you at the beginning of this video. So, the gunpowder green tea, why is it called that? Well, it is called that because it was rolled into little pellets, it still is, and it resembled gunpowder, all right? And then what country was gunpowder green tea, what ritual do they use to make their traditional mint tea? And that would be Morocco or the Maghreb, which is the North Middle Eastern area of Africa. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope you decide you want to take the 21-day tea ritual challenge with me. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. I don't always get to do this live version. There's a non-live version that happens, you can take whenever, but it's not as much fun as when you get to do it with a group of people that you know are going through the same thing as you're going through, and I think we got a good group of people starting up. So click on the link, and I will see you next week. Oh, and like this video, all right? Talk to you later. Bye.